for someone that's gonna hold a king down. I've been looking for someone that's gonna hold a king crown. I've been looking for somebody that would make me feel complete. I've been looking all my life, I wonder where could she be. I've been looking for someone that's gonna hold a king down. I've been looking for someone that's gonna hold a king crown. I've been looking for somebody that would make me feel complete. I've been looking all my life, I wonder where could she be. It's alright, baby, it's okay. I'm gonna love you anyway. When the sun turns blue, when the sky turns gray, my love is gonna be.
Welcome to the kingdom. This is King to Queen Talk, where we provide the black, grown, and unfiltered perspective on life, love, and everything in between. I'm Tony G.
I'm LoLo. No COVID, K.
Pineapple Hat CJ.
And we are King to Queen Talk. So it's been a while. It's been a good 2 weeks. So how's everybody doing? We'll talk about getting through the COVID, and then we're going to get to how you're feeling about everything else. But how you getting through this COVID pandemic now that they're reopening? I believe clubs are opening as of June 1st or this weekend.
June 1st, yeah.
So how y'all feeling?
Like I'm staying my ass in the house. Exactly what I'm saying.
Still staying in the house. I'm still staying in the house, still getting head. Ain't nothing changed.
You said still staying in the house,
Wow.
still getting head?
Still getting head is what you said.
Oh.
Same lifestyle as before in the house.
Well, as we can see, like that big 3-0 behind you. So happy birthday to
Thank
Miss
you.
Lowe.
Thank you.
Yes, yes. So what did you do for your birthday?
I got
Oh,
I was drunk by 6 o'clock.
Well, I'm glad to see everyone in good health, good spirits, especially in this time. Just within the last month or so, things have gotten real crazy. Besides the pandemic, we are, in all actuality, being slaughtered, being hunted at this point. From George Floyd to ahmaudarbery, even to the point where Christian Cooper is being called, the police are being called on him as he's bird watching and just asked the lady to put her dog on a leash in a public park, which is in Central Park. And we see all this on tape, all on video. So I want to dive into some of the specifics of a few of these cases, because now at this point, people are protesting, they're saying looting, and they're saying rioting, but I believe it's an uprising at this point. And there is a difference. So how are you feeling about the current climate of our society right now?
I feel like we're back to the 1945-ish. But there definitely is a difference between rioting. Rioting is when you're out destroying things without a purpose. An uprising is when you're destroying things for a purpose, for a cause. So when people say rioting, I really hate that, because it's like we're just out here just destroying property without a cause. I think what Minneapolis is doing, great job. Great job, Minneapolis.
So the only thing that confuses me, I'm all for the uprise, but I never, not even just pertaining to the current situations, but I never understood why people do the uprising in their own communities.
Hello.
I never have grasped that concept.
Where's they gonna go? They get on a plane and go?
So you you go to the community that you feel like is suppressing you, and you fuck they shit up, because guess what?
It's
You
police protected.
Huh?
It's police protected. Now, I don't know how true it is, but they were showing
specifically.
I mean, like they were showing. I don't know how true it is, but they were showing some shit on Instagram about how he had 50, 60 police officers at dude's house who killed Greg.
That's at his house. But what I'm saying is, if you're going to go to
in his neighborhood,
Target, you're going to go to a Walmart, you need to go in their community. Because guess what? You're doing this in your community. These are your people sometimes who own these things. And now when you need to go to the grocery store, you need to go to Target, guess where you have to go now? You have to go to their community to get those things because you fucked the one up in your community.
I mean, but how do y'all know that that was the one that they tore up was in their community?
You look at the neighborhood, I'm pretty sure it probably is.
And I mean, that's why
I don't know. All I saw was Targets on fire.
I saw a video of the neighborhood when they're burning shit down, and they burning down like corner stores and all kind of shit. And it's like, this is where you live.
How true is it that they burned up the precinct?
Well, I ain't saying nothing wrong with that, but
they saying how true. I don't know how true it is. That's all I was asking.
No. That did happen, but I was speaking more in a general sense. That's why I said it doesn't necessarily mean it's pertaining to that. I mean to Ahmad, but I'm just saying, or George. I'm just saying in general, when we see these uprisings, it happens within our actual communities. And I was just generally saying, like, I'm all for the uprising at this point, but let's make sure we're not harming ourselves. It's like me saying, I'm mad at you, but I'm gonna hit myself. Like, right. It doesn't make sense. So
yeah, I mean, it have to be. It does need to be a little bit more organized, but doing something is better than doing nothing.
I feel you. So, Lo, how do you feel about the climate right now?
It makes me really sad. It's frustrated. It's just a lot of mixed emotions, you know, because it's kind of like, what can we do? Because clearly protesting is not working. Like, you know, peaceful protesting is not working. We don't know that this uprising is going to be beneficial. Like, what is it that we can do that you see us as people and not as, you know, I actually saw something that was like, you know, that had a situation that happened with George. Had that been a dog, it would have been all hell would have broken loose. Like they would have went to jail right then.
Immediately they would have went to jail.
And it's just like, how is it that this is a person first? This is a human being first, and you see it as, oh well, he must have done something wrong. Something must have happened because the police wouldn't just do that just because. So it makes me, it's pissing me off. It's pissing me off to say.
I totally agree. And it is, I mean, I hate to like go back in the past, but I just think about like Michael Vick, like the uprising, the uproar, the backlash that came with Michael Vick and those dogs. And it's like, can we get half of that energy? Just give us half of the energy y'all gave, you know. And let me also say, there are people of other race that do support us. So we're not saying
barely.
Barely. And you know what? Seeing as, you know, we are disproportionate in our numbers, you know, it can feel like barely when we're only 13% of a population. So it can most definitely feel like a barely type of situation. But I just go back to, let us get half of that energy put into when we constantly are seeing our Black men, our women, our children slaughtered. I mean, it has become hunting season, and Ahmad is a perfect example. And I want to go down the list of people, you know, later on, but it's like we're being hunted. Give us half of that energy.
I'm along the lines of Will Smith. It's not direct. He said a direct quote, but I don't remember the direct quote. But racism is not getting worse; it's getting filmed.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of where I am. It's like it's not getting worse. It's the same things are happening. The same things been happening since they was pulling out fire hoses on us. It's just getting filmed now, and it makes it seem like it's worse, but it's not.
Which doesn't make it better.
It doesn't make it better. I'm not saying it makes it better.
No, I'm just making a point.
It's just, yeah, it's terrible, and I hate it. But it's like, I mean, what can you do? And at a point, I like to say what Dave Chappelle said. He was like, at this point, every black person knows what they need to do. It's an election year. Every black person needs to register for a licensed firearm. It's the only way it's going to change. And that's from Dave Chappelle. And I mean, we are armed up. It's the only way it can change. To me, like.
So what happens?
But peaceful ain't doing nothing. Rioting ain't doing nothing.
Something as simple as a stand your ground may work for Zimmerman, but ain't gonna work for any of us.
I think because I've seen a lot of people, and even in the the question of the days and stuff that we've posted, a lot of people have said agree with TJ. The only thing that they respect is they realize that all we're going to do is protest about it. We're going to forget about it until the next incident happens. It's a vicious cycle. That time when they were out there and they was killing all those cops, and when they had that sniper and I think he was in Texas, and cops was getting killed in New York, they chilled out for a split second because they realized that they were being targeted and they didn't like that. You know what I mean? So yeah. I feel like if we do, so this is my thing. If you're gonna take me to jail for doing nothing, take me to jail for doing something. You get what I'm saying? So either way, you're not on my side. Eye for an eye at this point, because every other day somebody's mom, sister, brothers are sitting there crying, having to bury their loved ones because of the way they fucking look. And 9 times out of 10, these people aren't doing anything. I'm jogging. I am in a grocery store writing the check. You don't know if this damn check is bad. How you know that? How you just assume that? Right. And how did that situation escalate to something like that?
It's just crazy. It's crazy that white killers, walking out
shooting up churches,
walking out in handcuffs, and you getting killed for writing a bad check or stealing cigarettes. Come on. And they always try to say it's not because the color of your skin, but what the fuck else is it?
Unarmed black people being killed. Just a few examples. Botham Jean was killed by an off-duty cop in his home. That's when the judge went and hugged her after sentencing her and gave her a Bible. Blew my mind. Jonathan Farrell killed while looking for help after he got into a car crash. He went and rung somebody's doorbell. The lady called and said, "There's a black man on my front porch." Police come, don't ask no questions, shoot him. Trayvon Martin, that's one of the more well-known, walking home from the store. Once again, all these people are unarmed. And we have...
Brown.
Say it again.
Mike Brown. I got to bring up St. Louis.
Oh, Mike Brown. It's and those are the people that didn't make it. Now, let's also go down the list, and we're going to get to our question of the days, but I want to make sure we are really just taking time to really let this sink in. Where, now they say we have the Karens, where it's like the Karen of the barbecue, Karen of the cookouts, Karen of,
Karen.
Yeah, who's calling the cops. So just an example, cops being called on black men for sitting in Starbucks, cops being called on a student in the library at Yale, cops being called on a girl selling Girl Scout cookies in front of her home. Another girl got the cops called on her. She was just selling bottled water because she wanted to go to Disney World and her mom had just got laid off from work. We mentioned the cookout in a public park. Black families cooking out. This lady just happens to be walking by. She calls the cops. Now, fortunately, these people live to tell this story. But the people that we previously mentioned didn't make it. What do we do? And like Lo said, marching at this point, I don't see the point. I don't know what the answer is, but it's like we've done that. We tried being peaceful with Kaepernick with one knee on the ground. that was too much for the world. You know what I'm saying? It's
Way
like
too much. You're disrespecting
like,
our flag.
Right. You didn't want his knee on the ground, but you wanted the cop's knee on George's neck. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a problem. So we're gonna move on to the question of the days. Definitely we did some question of the days surrounding the current climate of what we're going through. So I'm gonna hand it off to the queen, Miss LoLo.
The first one says late night TV host Jimmy Fallon is making headlines for a video of him in blackface during a Saturday night. I can't read. During a Saturday Night Live skit back in 2000. Some stars like Jamie Foxx are saying it's just comedy and we're being too sensitive. Do you agree with the outrage, or are we as a society becoming too sensitive? So we took a poll. 40% of people say yes, it's comedy. 60% said we're not a joke. So they don't agree that it's just comedy. That's not it. The other one says, time after time, the world has witnessed ongoing cases of unarmed Black people dying at the hands of white men. While most tend to say that they fear for their lives, how do we fight for the protection of Black lives in an all lives matter society? So I had someone write to me and they said, this was Vince. He said, more people need to be educated on the laws and police officers need more training. So I had to respond to that because I was like, that's not it. And I told him, I said, knowing the law and feeling as though those laws do not apply to a person or persons because of their race is the problem. Police engage differently depending on the person or persons they're engaging with. So yeah, no. Not to mention, more times than not, the person or persons are not breaking the law when they face these situations. And then I had Standing Scope he says, less talking, more action. We have to be militant and walk like warriors so they have no question who. Knowledge is the most powerful tool we get. We have to be sharp and we have to be physically sharp and spiritually too. War is war. And he went on to say, everybody is to blame. He stated that people like the older people, the older generation they don't pass down good information to us. We kind of just figure it out on our own. And he was saying that it's about bridging the gap, like with the older people and the younger people, he said, because once they die, all of their knowledge dies with them. So like, I think he has family members that were like a part of the Black Panther Party and everything like that. So he is definitely, he's like, we got to be militant.
I actually want to break down like both of those question of the days. So what do y'all think about the Jimmy Fallon controversy? Now I can't speak. Controversy.
I passed it on to you.
Right. What do y'all think about that? Like, are we being too sensitive? No,
this is my thing. Stop doing it. Period. Like, it's always been a thing. And yes, I get it. Comedy is comedy. You know what I mean? Like, you have people who do voice impersonations. They don't change the way they physically look. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna say that we're too sensitive. People are aware that people are taking our culture and they're mocking it, you know, and they think that it's cool. And so if you let something like that slide, then you gotta let it slide when it's Halloween, because it's just Halloween. I'm just dressing up, you know, we're just playing. Stop playing with us. Like, we are whole people. If I dress up as Cinderella, I don't paint my face white. I just wear the wig, the dress, and go on by my business. And you look at me like, oh, Black Cinderella. I don't have to paint myself to portray a certain thing. You could have played that role. I think he was impersonating Chris Rock or something.
Chris Rock, yeah.
You could play that role. You don't have to do blackface. Whoever agreed to that and cleared that, they need to be held accountable just as well as he does.
I think that, you know, they've accepted it from him because he's Jimmy Fallon, and he has Black friends. And so it's supposed to be cool, but it's always going to be wrong. You know what I mean? But the thing is, we don't say anything. So if we don't say anything, it's always going to be accepted. People are always going to say that it's okay because we don't say anything. or, you know, and we're just not consistent with any of this. So it's like.
And what about the ones who are saying something, but they're saying it's okay?
I mean, and who are, you know, are they really black? You know what I mean? Because you got those black people. You know what I'm saying? You got those black people who think they're white, or, you know, they live a Caucasian lifestyle, and so it's okay with them. Like for Jamie Foxx to say that to me, that almost made me dislike Jamie Foxx. I'm gonna be honest.
Well, he also was dating Katie Holmes, so there's that.
Well, yeah, and you know, it's just like, why would you even think that that's okay? You know what I mean? It's never okay. It's just never okay.
I understood the point y'all just made, and I'm just going to say, dating a white person doesn't negate your blackness or your ideology of what's right and what's wrong.
Said it does to most black women.
No, that's not true. It's just
which is a whole different conversation.
Yeah, it's a whole different conversation. So I ain't going.
No, he already said
go there,
it.
but I'm just saying, like,
He said it.
It is to most black women. It is. It may not be true to you, but I'm saying to like most black women, it is.
You can't say that because you don't know most black women. And have you had a conversation with most black women that know black men that date white women that feel like that? I have friends who are in who are in who date other races, who have girlfriends or boyfriends that are of other races, and when stuff like this happens, they still speak up, and their significant other also speaks up. What Jamie Foxx said doesn't surprise, and I said that because what he said doesn't surprise me, but that's just watching him over the years with her and just how he engages about different things, period. So that's why I said that comment about him. I don't necessarily believe that about all black women feel that way about black men. Now, if you are dating a white woman and we are having a discussion about black, you know, activities or things that are happening to black people, and you hit me with an all lives matter, then yes, I am going to look at you like, what are you doing? Because at the end of the day, yes, you may be dating this white woman, and that's completely fine. You date who you want to date, love who you like, love who you want to love. I don't give a fuck about that. But when you are out, you are still a target. You still have a target on your back, period, because your skin is still black, no matter what the fuck her skin looks like.
So, TJ, going to you about the fouling controversy. Well, how do you feel about it?
I feel like everything blackface is terrible. Shouldn't be done at any moment, anytime, any place. I also think that a lot of white people find it funny. So,
right.
Now, do black people
if you're appealing to your crowd, that's what you're appealing to. It really, in a sense, it really don't matter what black people think, because you're trying to appeal to the crowd that you're trying to appeal to.
Which is a
larger
crowd.
Huh?
Which is a larger crowd.
Right, exactly. But my personal opinion is like it should not be done at all. And like y'all all said, they've been doing it forever. And I just wish they love black people like they love black culture. Like they love to mock us, they love to want to be like us.
Dress like us, talk like
us.
Dress like us,
make their face up, you know what I'm saying?
I'm just gonna echo everything y'all said. At the end of the day, I feel like if we don't stand up and say something, it's just going to continue. But we can't be the only people standing up. There has to be other people that are actually standing up with us, because we're outnumbered at the end of the day.
Right.
Population-wise, we're outnumbered. So it has to be more than just us standing up. Other people have to stand up of other races and be loud about it.
Right. I don't see a lot of
people. We have to.
I don't see a lot of people, Latinos, and I don't see a lot of Latinos who say nigga all the time standing up when like this happens, or like Greg Floyd, you know, or getting killed like Mike Brown or Trayvon Martin. You don't see the Latino community who say nigga with impunity when, you know what I'm saying, music come on, or when they with us, or when they, you know what I'm saying, want to be like us.
So we're gonna go back to the other question that Ms. Lowe presented. My bottom line question is, what do we do if riding isn't helping, as they say, a knee isn't helping? What do we do? What is the resolution?
Action is definitely, I feel like, the resolution. Also, you know, you got to hit white people where it hurts, which is their money, their pockets. Until their pockets are hurting, they're not going to do anything. Until we take our own lives seriously, they're not going to take us seriously. Until we're consistent, I think that, you know, things won't happen. But, you know, we have to learn how to fight back. And, you know, back in the day, people were fighting for our rights, and they got killed, and they got sprayed and hosed and, you know, bit by dogs. You have to, you know, for change to happen, there's ultimately going to be some deaths. That's part of it, I think. And, you know, we have to hit them in their pockets. And like you said earlier, we have to go to their neighborhoods, pick up their shit. I'm not really with violence, but I do believe that at this point, talking, singing about it, rapping about it, you know, posting about it, none of that really works.
So do you guys plan on participating in June 7th's proclaimed blackout for all Black people? I believe T.I. is one of the people that kind of went to the forefront with the idea of a blackout where no Black person, and he categorized Black people as being anyone of ethnicity from Chinese to Hispanic to African American. No one spends any dollar on June 7th. And supposedly that is going to be trillions of dollars missing out of the economy just for one day. So you're with it. What you think, Lo?
About the blackout? I ain't spending money anyway. So one thing that I can say is that I have definitely been more conscious, even before all of this started happening so frequently, about spending my money with Black people and supporting Black businesses. You know what I mean? I can't say that I'm 100% successful because I still shop at Walmart when I can. I'm not gonna sit here and act all like I don't. But like my soap, I buy directly from a Black person. My sea moss I bought from Korinne. Hey girl. You know, like I'm transitioning to natural products. So I shop as much Black as I can, and I promote as much Black as I can, because at the end of the day, I'm all about putting money in my brother's pocket before I put money in anybody else's pocket, period. So
and
with that.
That's actually something that is not uncommon or unusual for other races. Right. In the Jewish community, they only spend in their community. In the Asian community, they will go out and get and receive dollars from us because we want to go buy hair and all this other kind of stuff. But when they spend their money, they're not coming to our communities in order to spend that money. They're spending it in their communities. So that is not unusual. We just have not caught up to that whole mindset.
I also think that we are not, and I can't say, and this is not every Black person in the world, right? But I feel like a lot of people aren't necessarily taught to keep that money in your community.
Agreed.
Because your community doesn't always look like you. You know what I mean? So I feel like it took for me to get older and realize what was happening around me for me to realize that was something that I really needed to do and something that was important to me. So I can't necessarily say that everybody thinks that way. And also, too, we have to stop asking each other fucking discounts. Like, that is the worst ever. Like, if my friend has a business, I'm going to support that business. I'm going to post it. I'm going to promote it. I'm going to buy from it. Even if it's something like people be like, oh, why your t-shirt $25? But you just went and bought a t-shirt with a little red, green little stripe right here for $200 because it's Gucci. Like, that's stupid. But you won't buy your friend's t-shirt because it's your friend and you feel like you're supposed to get a discount. You don't go to the Gucci store asking for a discount.
And that's 100% true, Lo. And I mean that even goes to something as small as people will not support if you're trying to become an actor or you're trying to become a singer and you have a mixtape or a rapper, you have a mixtape, something as simple as that, but will go to other platforms and support somebody that they'll never meet in life. They'll never see these people, but they'll go and comment, they'll go and like, they'll share, they'll do all of that.
Because
but the
people like to follow the trend. People like to follow the trend. They like to follow the crowd.
Right.
They don't want to support you until you own.
That is true. And I also just want to point out that there are apps that actually are specific to finding Black businesses within your area. Jay-Z.
We Buy Black is one on Instagram.
Say it again.
We Buy Black on Instagram.
Okay. And Jay-Z and Diddy came out with something. I don't know if there's continued, but there is something called Black Nation that's also in the App Store that you can also use in order to find Black-owned businesses throughout your area. So that's definitely something to keep in mind.
I'm sorry. Did you see the tweet that your president made? I don't know if
yes.
you have to read it.
No. Go ahead and say it. Go ahead and say it.
All right. So he posted. So they did a comparison of tweets that he made, right? So on the 29th of May, that's today, he tweeted, "These thugs are dishonoring the memory of George Floyd, and I won't let that happen. Just spoke to the governor, Tim Walz, and told him that the military is with him all the way. Any difficulty, and we will assume control. But when the looting starts, the shooting starts. Thank you." I had to go on Twitter to make sure that I saw that.
Unreal.
He tweeted that. They took it down, but then they put it back because they wanted people to be able to see that. But on May 1st, when they were going crazy in Michigan and doing all of that because they had them.
You mean when they were armed?
When they were armed
at the state building?
He tweeted, and I quote, "The governor of Michigan should give," this was the white people. I'm sorry, but this is what it was.
Yeah. There ain't no, you're not sorry.
No. I'm saying. So the first one was about the Black people in Minneapolis. Okay. This was about the white people in Michigan. Okay. He says the governor of Michigan should give a little and put out the fires. These are very good people, but they are angry. They want their lives back again, safely. See them, talk to them, make a deal. How the do you distinguish those two different things?
That is unfortunately like our reality, where the person that is supposed to be the leader of the free world is literally like,
shoot him. And that's literally what he said.
He's singing the white people's tune though. That's what the white people. That's what they say when they not around us. When they not trying to be like us. That's what they say. He just saying it. Like that's how they feel. Like that's exactly how they feel. He just saying it.
That you can have somebody like you said, AG, that's supposed to be the leader of the free world. You're supposed to be the person that everybody looks to in times of tragedy for inspiration. And you telling these people, hey, if they start looting, start shooting. What?
And you know what I'm thinking? I remember when George Bush, the second Bush, was president, God. And New Orleans debacle and tragedy happened, and Kanye went on live TV and said George Bush hates Black people. If George Bush hated Black people, what does Donald Trump think of us?
Boy, clearly you want us dead because he told us to start shooting.
It's like if that was the case, and I'm not saying George Bush hates Black people. I'm just saying if that was the case for George Bush, what is the mindset of a Donald Trump?
I actually wore this shirt, right? So The back
Tell
of
us
my
what
shirt,
it says. Tell us what it
so
says.
it says, "My black is beautiful," and the back of my shirt says, "My black is powerful," right?
Man.
So I was at Quick Trip with this shirt on, and mind you, it doesn't say pro-black, anti-white. It says what it says, right? This man walks past me. He says, "My white is beautiful." I said,
Whoa!
"It sure is." He looked at me because he wasn't expecting me to say nothing. I'm like, just because I'm pro-black does not mean I'm anti-white. You know
Just
what I mean?
like
And I feel like, huh?
No, I was gonna say, just like we say, Black Lives Matter. That doesn't mean nobody else's life matters.
Right.
It's making a point that y'all don't see that we matter. Y'all don't see that we're beautiful. Y'all don't see that we're powerful.
Exactly.
So we have to keep on telling ourselves this because we don't see it on an everyday basis. And you sure as hell ain't telling us yourself.
Exactly.
So,
but that man who you saw at the gas station, he part of the problem.
Oh, of course he is. Of course, because anytime you shout anything that's pro-black, people be like, "Well, what about such and so?" We're not talking about you right now. You want to know why? Because society talks about you all the fucking time. We see you everywhere. We know that the standard beauty is what society considers the standard beauty is you. So you don't have to be reminded. But my people need to be reminded every day because, like AG said, we don't see it anywhere. We have to work twice as hard to even see half of it that you see. So again, when I say I am pro-black, that does not mean I'm anti-white. It means that I support my people just as much as you support yours. Period.
Let me say this. I do think that, we have to start at home because a lot of us are not taught at an early age to love ourselves, to love the skin, to love dark skin. A lot of that starts at home. Like me personally, my great grandfather was white, but I grew up in a house where we had Black Jesus. We had Martin Luther King on the wall. We had Malcolm X on the wall. We had Angela Davis on the wall. So in my mind, I always want to be chocolate because I'm like, oh, chocolate's beautiful. Chocolate's the best because that's what I grew up seeing. You know what I mean? That's what I heard, growing up. I heard white people are the devil. White people smell like dogs. So in my mind, I never wanted to be anything but black. And I feel like that starts at home. I'm just telling y'all what I grew up as. This is real shit.
But do you think that's healthy?
That's coming from a biracial grandfather, a light-skinned Black Panther uncle, and a white grandfather. And that's how I grew up. So when I moved to the South, when I was probably like 15, I had never seen a white Jesus until I came to Atlanta. I was like, y'all got white Jesus in y'all's churches? Where we had Black Jesus in our churches. So to come to a place where it's, considered this is the Black Mecca, and to have a white Jesus in your church that does not fit the Bible description is crazy to me. So I think, we have to teach our kids that Black is beautiful, that we're powerful, that we're strong, that we are healers, that we are thinkers, we're inventors, we're all of these things because we don't teach our kids that. So if we don't teach our kids that, and the kids don't grow up to know how powerful and how influential they are on the culture and the world in general, then it starts from there. I think that's just my thing. You have to boost your children's self-esteem. You have to instill in them the greatness that is Black. You have to teach them that we are gods and goddesses. So if that was how they had that to come across at that time, because maybe they didn't know, any other terms, then yeah, because I think for me, it helped me. Like when I grew up, I never was like, oh, I want to be white. I want to be this. I want to be that. It was always like, yeah, I'm Black. I'm proud. I'm about whatever. You know what I mean? So I think for me, it helped me. I instilled the same thing in my child. And you have to do that. You know what I mean? I grew up shooting guns. You know what I mean? I grew up going to the gun range. That's another thing we don't teach our kids. My son goes to the gun range. He knows how to shoot. He knows how, you know what I mean? we have to do that because that is a part of learning how to protect your house, yourself, just in general. And it's your right to carry arms. It's your right. And if we don't start, using these rights that we have, who knows? They might try to take them away. Who knows? You know what I mean? Because let's not forget that we've only really been free for a few hundred years. You know what I mean? Let's not forget that this really just started in 1945. You know what I mean? Yeah. And we're not really free because let's not also remember that the state that we live in, it doesn't even have a hate crime law. You know what I mean? So it's like no one in Georgia can be charged with a hate crime law. And this is the Black Mecca. You know what I mean? But are we as Black people pushing for them to have a hate crime law for us? Are we pushing for, these other things? We're not, because we're so content with being the race that has to, that we have to be the race that is the most forgiving, the most inclusive. You know what I mean? Because that's what we've been taught. All these other races, they're not inclusive. You know what I mean? They stay to themselves. They marry within their race. They don't go outside their race. A lot of Jewish people, they go to Jewish markets. You know what I mean? They don't marry outside of their races. Asians, Indians, a lot of Mexicans, you don't see that. We're the only race that is so forgiving of every other race. And I don't know if that's like something that is taught at home or something like that, but that's definitely not how I'm raising mine, because that's not how I grew up,
Well, that is a key point, and I feel like this needs to be a part 2. We definitely are going to have to bring someone else on, whether it's an activist, a police officer, just to get another perspective. At this point, I don't even want to touch the fishbowl because I want us to really marinate on this type of conversation. I just want to piggyback. I understood your point, Korinne, but I also want to piggyback on what Lo said, and which was basically, we don't have to put down someone else in order to build us up, just like they don't have to put us down in order to build themselves up. And everybody was raised differently, so we can't say, well, this is the way you should be raised, this is what you should do. You can't do that, because everyone has life experiences that are different. You don't know what this person went through in order to even have that mindset. So I'm not saying one way or the other, but all I will say is we have to be in a position where no matter what this race is doing on the right, this race is doing on the left, I'm so comfortable in my Blackness that it doesn't matter what you're doing over there. I'm fly. As Lo says, I'm beautiful, I'm powerful, I'm all this, whether you are or whether you're not. Whether you believe me or whether you don't believe me, whether you see me or don't see me, I still am who I am. And so on that note, I want to just go ahead and close us out and get ready for a part 2. And I would like for part 2 to touch on what Korinne was just saying. In regards to now I just got lost because Lo talking about preach. But why are we so forgiving?
Right.
I want us to really dissect that, and we will have a special guest on the next episode. But I think that is something that we have to dissect for a group of people that have gone through generations of oppression. Right. Why are we so forgiving to, I'm not even going to say white people, but to a
system.
Just cultures outside of our own, races outside of our own.
Yeah, like why even the organization, how our judicial system is set up. Like it goes even beyond the race. Like why are we okay? Why are we willing to say it is okay if we took them to court on a state level? We don't have to go to the federal level, and because they said, oh well, it's okay to shoot an unarmed black man, and we're okay because we tried to do it on the state level, so it's okay. Why are we so forgiving? I think that's something that we need to really dissect and really try to figure out. So make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. We are getting our subscribers up, and we really appreciate all the love y'all been giving, all the feedback. Continue to give your feedback. As you can see, we have a new look. We're still doing our social distancing, but of course, we want to make sure we're safe, and we are going to continue to bring you that fire, bring you that heat. So once again, we need your comments. We need your feedback. We need you to like, share it with your friends. Hey, share it with your white friends. Share it with your Asian friends, because when they hear this type of conversation, this is going to spark dialogue outside of just us. And that's what it's going to take. It's going to take us getting aligned and connecting with other people. We're only 13% of a population. It takes more than just us. So on that note, we love y'all, and we're out.